Let's take a look at this problem. We got 5x squared plus 24x minus 5 equals 0. Now we're going to be using the zero factor property. And the first step says get 0 on one side, which we have. And then we got to factor the other side. Well, start going through my factoring techniques. GCF, there isn't any. Grouping is 4 or more terms? No. PST is close, but there's a number in front of the x squared. These will be a key number. Key number is when you have x squared, x, no x, and there's a number in front of your x squared. Now with key number, we're going to take the number at the beginning times the number at the end, ignoring signs. So number at the beginning times the number at the end, ignoring signs. 5 times 5 is 25. And come up with our 3 columns. P, list all P for product. We list all the products, give us 25. We got 1 times 25 and 5 times 5. The S column, S for sum, we're going to add these together. 1 plus 25 is 26, 5 plus 5 is 10. D for difference, subtract smaller from larger. 25 minus 1 is 24, 5 minus 5 is 0. Now the number we're looking for is always a number in a middle term, which is 24, which is right here, which means we'll use 1 and 25. Now remember, we're going to rewrite our middle term using those 2 numbers. So first term and last term remain as is. Now the larger number that we're using 1 and 25, so larger of those is 25, will always be the same sign as your middle term. Middle term is positive, so we're going to have a positive 25x. Number of circles in the difference column. D for different signs. One's positive, one's negative. So if the 25 is positive, then the 1 has to be negative. Then we want to factor by grouping. So group first 2 terms together, group last 2 terms together. The first group, the GCF, is 5x, which gives us x plus 5. Now our second group, they don't have anything in common, but first term is negative, so we'll factor out a negative 1. And that gives us x plus 5. Now our goal was to get this parentheses the same as this, which they are. So I'll factor out an x plus 5. And to decide what goes in your second set of parentheses, you can come up with the previous problem, cross out the x plus 5s, and what isn't crossed out is what goes right here, which would be 5x minus 1. Now the zero factor property says you get 0 on one side, you factor the other side, you set each factor equal to 0. So I'll set x plus 5 equal to 0 and 5x minus 1 equal to 0. And solve these. So it takes 5 over and becomes a negative 5. This one I'll take the negative 1 over, it becomes a positive 1. And then divide both sides by the number in front of the x, which is 5. And you get x is equal to 1/5. So our 2 answers are negative 5 and 1/5.